evening and welcome everyone. Thank you for tuning in today. Continuing our series, Unicity Talk, by inviting global leaders and industry heads as our special speakers and learn their tips. Today, it is our privilege to invite our Presidential Sapphire, Lim Eng Hai. President Eng Hai is a journalist turned stockbroker and now a network marketer. Today, he is a proud owner of Well on Wellness. He has been a coach and mentor to many, helping individuals to discover their potential in living their best life. Today, he works from home in Singapore, living his life every day with people matters to him, doing what he loves as a life solution provider, making life better, transforming life, delivering freedoms and happiness. And he's also one of our top international leaders in Unicity, having market reach globally. And now, without further ado, we would like to welcome our special guest for tonight, Presidential Sapphire, Mr. Lim Eng Hai.
Okay, hi. Thank you, ZK. Thank you for the introduction. Hi, everyone. Good evening to you. Okay, I believe we are among friends and business associates. I believe tonight's session is open only to those who are already in the business. I don't think there are any prospect here, right? Okay, because this is a training session. It is designed especially for people who want to be successful in the business. I hope the content we will cover tonight, you will find suitable whether you are new or you're not so new in the business, okay? I accepted an invitation from Unicity to talk about a particular, specific topic. It's about what do we do to bring people in, and beyond that, what do we need to do to keep people in? It's not just about bringing people on board, it's also about helping them to stay in the game. I have titled the topic for tonight as Building Wide, Bringing New People on Board. That kind of frames the conversation we will have tonight. Now, I've been in the business for a long time, and I wish the first two words I learned in this business was build wide. Because building wide adds power to our business. Not building wide enough takes away power from our business. So I like us all to begin with the right perspective. Whatever we're going to learn tonight is about how we can build wider. Okay? So let me just share with you slides which I've prepared. They will facilitate the conversation we're going to have tonight. Okay. Can you all see my slide? Oh, feel free to have the video on, right? I find it very strange as a person who is very involved in the business. I find it very strange to talk to a wall, all right? So if you have a video, you can turn it on. I've made sure that the administration will allow you to put your video on, all right? Now, tonight we're gonna talk about building wide, bringing new partners on board. Okay, by the way, can I just check, can you all hear me clearly?
Can hear you, but the screen is, I don't know why is it too big, only see few words.
Oh, okay, really?
You zoom in or something, is it?
Okay, let me try again. Is it better?
It's actually okay from our side.
Okay then.
You can see the whole page, yeah?
Yes, correct.
Okay, right, fine. All right, so let me begin. If there's any problem, feel free to interrupt. All right, we're going to be casual. I'm not going to be formal, all right? So if you feel that you lost my voice or you lost my slide, something goes wrong, just interrupt. I'm okay with that, right? I'm not okay with things being a little bit stiff and formal, okay? Right, so I'm going to plunge right in. Our business is really about meeting with people all the time and having conversations. So if we're going to create anything, we're going to create it in conversations, right? I learned this powerful phrase. Everything happens in conversations. Now, conversations has two aspects. It's not just about talking. In fact, there's something more important than talking. There's something more important than speaking. It's listening, right? Anyway, let me just extend on the concept. When we get into conversation with people, we create possibilities. No conversations, no possibilities, right? So when we get into conversation, people, we can invent possibilities with them. And as I said, conversation has two aspects, speaking and listening. And once we have created the possibility, we need to stay in communication, because communication keeps the possibilities alive. All right? So everything happens in conversations. Conversation creates possibilities. Communication keeps possibilities alive. Now, by the way, when you're listening in and you think that, hey, this is not rocket science stuff, this sounds rather basic, then we're on the right track, because we should keep the business really basic and very fundamental. We don't want to get too over ourselves and confuse ourselves and get complicated. One of the things I've learned in this business is think simple and keep things simple. All right. So everything happens in conversations. Conversations create possibilities, and communication keeps those possibilities alive. Now, why are we here? We're here because we are interested to become successful, right? So why? Right? This is a simple way to look at everything in life, everything that we do. X equals to Y, where X is what we do and Y is what we hope to achieve, right? So communication, getting in touch with people, talking to people, building Y, that's all X. What's the Y? The Y is to be successful in building our Unicity business. Now, I've come to learn that sometimes people are working very hard, reaching out a lot, and then they don't find that they're that successful. That's because something is missing. I call that the B factor. What if I can show you that you can make your action much more powerful? I call this action to the power of your being. B for being will create for you your result. Now, let me define for the purpose of our conversation tonight, what is this being all about? If we're going to be in this business, we're going to be proactive. We're not going to wait for things to happen. We're going to be making things happen. We don't wait for people to talk to us, although you could do that. Right? Let's say you're physically transformed, you're very healthy, and you think you got a very positive aura, and you are lazy and you don't want to reach out to people. You wait for people to come to you. Yeah, you could do that. But if you want to be successful, you need to have the being of being proactive, going out there to make things happen, going out to make conversations happen, going out there to ask questions. Don't wait for people to approach us. We go out there to approach people, right? So that's being proactive. The second being that's relevant to our discussion tonight is to be other-centric. Now, maybe this word sounds not so familiar to you, but perhaps you are familiar with egocentric. Egocentric, that means very centered on yourself. Or you may be familiar with the word self-centered. Well, that won't help us in our business. This is a business of making life better for other people, with other people. So one of the beings we need to adopt is to be focused on others. What do they want? What are they looking for? What are their concerns? What are their questions? What are their doubts? Right? Now, if I were to simplify this concept of being other-centric, it is about being truly interested in people. So if you can train yourself to be truly interested in people, that would be very helpful. Now, it sounds like, do I have to teach people to be that? If you stop to think about it, in the life that we have, in the work that we do you think we are trained to be other-centered, or are we trained to be self-centered, protecting ourselves, watching out for things for ourselves, or do we look out for others? Well, maybe you look out for others, but I think general conditioning in any work environment is we are trained to look out for ourselves. But in this business, we are allowing ourselves to be trained to look out for others, to be other-centric, to be truly interested in others. That's a very important being to adopt before you even go out there and start talking to people. The third being we need to adopt is to be a good listener, to listen with empathy. Listen not to react, Listen not to respond. Listen not to argue, but listen with interest, with the intention to really understand the other party. You need to have that being. If not, you're going to find yourself losing friends, getting into arguments, because in this business, you get into arguments, we are not going in the right track. We need to go out there and listen to people, get people, and have people realize that we got them. Right? To do that, we need to be a good listener, learn to listen with empathy. The final aspect of being that I want to touch on is to be patient. Sometimes our problem is we are very impatient. We ask a question and people take 10 seconds to respond. And that 10 seconds may seem so long. And then we jump in and we answer the question. We answer the question ourselves. Well, if we do that with our prospect, nobody's going to talk to us. They're going to say, you ask the question yourself, you answer yourself. Why don't you go and finish everything by yourself? Now, to be patient is necessary as in our business, because when we are asking good questions, people need to be given time to listen. And we don't make judgment, and we need to have a heart for people. And if you have a heart for people, you will be able to connect with them, right? So these are the being that we need, right, to adopt when we go out there and start talking to people in our strategy to build our business and to build it wide, right? So I believe these are simple enough for you to get, right? Be proactive, be truly interested in others, be a good listener, and be patient. Yeah, you feel free to write down, take these notes, right? Because it's good for me to remind myself when I go out there to talk to people, I know I got to make things happen. I know I got to be listening to them, be focused on what they're looking for. I know I got to use my ears more than I use my mouth. And I know that I got to use my heart to listen to them and to understand what they're dealing with and to give people the time. One of the things I learned is if we're in a hurry and we are impatient, we lose the case. But if we're patient, we are very more likely to keep them, right? And I've had experience in a business where when I get impatient, you know, you can lose people very fast. You can lose their attention very fast. So it doesn't hurt to be patient, but it hurts badly to be impatient. All right, so I believe this is very clear for you. Now, the being is very important. With this being, we can go out there and start looking at what are the things we need to do to bring other people on board, right? So again, that formula, right? X equals to Y. Now, in my team, we always talk about the 4 things we need to set ourselves up for before we go out there and talk to people. Now, I'm going to generalize because I know there are people who are not in my same team, in my same system. And I would like to thank you for joining me tonight. And I hope you will get something useful for yourself too. Now, whatever your system, whatever your team, I believe those 4 things are fundamental in our business. The first thing before we go out there is to be in the game. As I said just now, if you're in this meeting, you are already in the business. And if you're in this business, you are in this business for 2 things. 1, you're in this business to be healthy. Am I right? You're also in this business to be financially free and to be wealthy. That's number 1. Right? So we get on the Unicity platform because we want to be healthy and wealthy. Number 2, if you want to succeed in the business, if I want to succeed in the business, I must know where I'm going to go with this. I must have my dreams. I must be clear about my goals, right? And good to have goals for the next 3 to 6 months. The third thing is understand that to build a business, we got to be with people. We got to be in communication. We got to create conversations. And the 4th thing is to leverage on your senior partner to work with your team. All right? Everybody has a team. Nobody works alone. Anyone who tries to work alone will probably not succeed, right? So those are the 4 fundamentals in the business we got to get right. And then once you're ready, what do? Okay, I'm going to take you through 8 steps. I break down number 3. Number 3 is about reaching out to people, bringing the right people on board, which is the main topic for tonight, right? Now, these are the 8 things that we do. We get active socially. Now, this needs to be said because quite often when I bring people in the business, they say, oh, I don't have many friends. Actually, everyone has many friends, but we've been too busy living our life. We have neglected all our friends. And very often you think you know your brother, you think you know your sister. Some people don't even know what is the latest job of their brother or their sister, let alone their friend. So one of the things we got to kind of build the muscle in the business is to get active socially. What is the meaning of get active socially? Go out there and find out how people are doing. Go out there and listen to people complain about their job, complain about their life, complain at a problem. Now, I know many of us come from a place where we don't want to listen to other people's complaints. We got enough complaints of our own. But when you join this business, you already have the solution to all your complaints. Now we are ready to listen to people's complaints, because when we know their complaint, we know how we can help them, right? So get active socially is to go out there and listening to what people say. Now, if you have an invitation to a dinner, go. You have an invitation to an alumni gathering, go. All these are opportunities for us to meet people, right? If you don't meet people as a habit, you don't have enough people to bring into the business, right? Because we're not going to bring everyone else, we're not going to bring everyone into the business. We're just going to bring the right people into the business. But how do we know who is right? Right? We got to get to know them first, right? Click and connect, right? You know, when you get on a phone, if you don't hear the click, you don't start talking, right? You got to click first and then you connect. It's the same with human beings. You get a click and then you connect with them. And what do? You collect information. Think about this. When we are with people, we are collecting information, not talking. You're not a salesman. You're not in this business to sell product. You are doing much more than that. You're building a business, right? Yeah, maybe if your frame of mind is, yeah, I don't care about building a team. I just want to sell product. Then this is not the training for you, because we're talking about building white, right? So if you want to build a business, you got to go out there and collect information. You don't go out there and blabber before you get to know people, right? Right? Now, when you collect information, what are you looking for? You are listening up for what people need. You are listening up for what people's concerns are. You also got to know what they're doing. Do they have a job? Have they lost their job? Do they have a business? Is the business doing well or disturbing them? Right? And along the way, you want to find out what's missing in their life. Right? One of the most successful people I ever learned for use this idea. Life is a jigsaw puzzle. Find out what is the missing jigsaw. So if we can just listen to people, have a conversation with people, listening up for the missing jigsaw, listening up for what's missing in their life, then when you got there, either on the spot at that point or at a later stage, 1 or 2 days later, you can do the third thing, right? Oh, by the way, when I talk about FORMHD, that's short for what are the things you want to find out. You don't want to find out about their political views. You don't want to know what they think of Donald Trump, okay? You want to find out about their family. You want to find out about what job they're doing. You want to find out about what they do in their free time. And if they have free time, what would they like to do? You want to have a sense of where is their finance, what's their money situation like. I think a very easy topic to talk about is health. A lot of people like to talk about health, right? But you want to learn to talk about health in the deeper and broader way, right? And then D stands for dreams. Those are 6 areas where you will want to focus. Not all 6, but somewhere there. But I'll give you a tip. The easiest way to find out about people is to ask, hey, how are you doing? How's your job? Where are you working right now? Because the job defines very much a big chunk of people's life, right? So you can begin from where are you working right now? And that's where you begin to find out if they're happy with their job, if they're looking for another job, or if they just lost their job, or if they're afraid they're going to lose their job, which is someone like me. I joined this business because I was imminently going to lose my job and I was looking for an opportunity. Someone came to me at the right time, right? So you want to find what's missing, what's bugging them, what's driving them. And when you have a good sense of what people are, and it doesn't take that long, right? But you got to get down to practicing, right? Then you can invite them to take a look at the business, right? And all this involves, you realize, conversations and communication. So when you find out that people have a need, what you're going to do, you're going to say, hey, thanks for sharing your concerns with me. What if I can show you a way to plug all the holes in your life or to fulfill all the needs that you are dealing with? What if I can show you how not to worry about money ever again? What if I can show you how to be healthier and make money from being healthier? And they don't need to understand what you're saying, but they need to be interested in what you're inviting them. So you invite them with what if I can show you? And then when they agree, not everybody is open, but those who are open will agree to meet you. And that's when you present right? I call that the first time you show them the business. It's not bring them to a meeting. A lot of people who are untrained in a business, what they do, they talk to people, hey, come to my meeting. Nobody wants to go to your meeting. You got to find out what they are looking for, and then you got to connect with them one-to-one, right? And if you're new to the business, work with your senior, right? No, I don't know how to do that. Well, someone knows how to do that, the one who bring you into the business. We call that your senior partner, okay? Now, so you do a first look. If you are raw in the business, you let your senior do for you, right? And when you watch him do it a few times, you should have a good sense of how to do it. And you show your plan, right? Maybe different teams have different way of showing the business, but I hope you have a standard way to show the business. Like, oh, what if this person is rich? What if this person is poor? It should be the same plan, isn't it? Right? Because if you got a plan for the rich, you got a plan for the poor, I don't think it's gonna work very well, right? Because you're gonna confuse yourself and confuse your new people. So show them the plan, and once they show an interest, they like what they hear. And by the way, showing the plan should not be 2 hours, 3 hours, right? 15 minutes to 30 minutes should do. And if they're interested with what you have to show them, they say, come and meet my team. And I believe everyone here belongs to a team which will do regular meetings, right? I'd like you to come and meet my team and meet my senior and get the full picture and meet the success stories in my team. We call that the second look, where they don't just look at you, they look at the whole team. And some people, after that second look, will be ready to say, yeah, I'm ready, but nobody's going to say, I'm ready. You got to ask, are you ready to join me in this business? And they say, yeah, but I have some questions. Then you deal with the questions, right? So there's the time when you invite them to sign up and join you as a business partner. Again, let me just reiterate, right? We are in the business to look for business partner, right? Now, some may be in the business to look for consumer, but that's not today's topic. We are in the business of looking for business partner because only business partner build the business, right? So we will invite them, are you ready to join me in this business? And if they say yes, then you sign them up. I think for every team, you will have your different protocol and different process. Just work with your senior on that. Some people, after the first time you talk to them, they may say, hey, I trust you and I like what you say, just sign me up, right? Even if you are lucky enough to find someone like that, you want to introduce them to your team, because I believe nobody here works alone. Everyone here has a team. One of the things I learned in this business is don't work alone, work with others. Because even if you're good, people may not believe you, but they may believe a stranger, all right? So even if they're ready to sign up, you still introduce them to the team, and then it's important to get them trained. Training on the job, training in the seminar, and like a training like tonight, right? And only after they train do you release your new partners, right? So what I've done is I have shown you two aspects. The first aspect, how to bring people into the business, and second aspect is how to get them started. The training must precede the going out there to the field, because you don't want to send your new people out to die. You don't send your new people out to get hit by all the tough questions they're not prepared for. All right. When you bring people into the business, especially in our business, you got to walk with them in their first 90 days. And the first 90 days must begin with the training. And after the training in a Zoom session like tonight, the best training is training on the job. You want them to get started with you, right? And what are they going to do? After getting started, ready to get started, what they do is they're going to go out there and do what you did, which is to get active socially and start collecting names, start getting to know people, start listening to what's missing, start looking for people who are looking, right? And if you talk to enough people, you will get really lucky, right? How many of you would like to get lucky in this business? I learned from a diamond leader long ago in the beginning of business. You want to get lucky? This is what you need to do. Be prepared. If you're prepared, you get lucky every day because opportunity is everywhere. The problem for a lot of people, they're not prepared. So when opportunity shows up, they got scared, they run away. But if you prepare yourself, there will always be opportunity for you, and you can always get lucky because you're ready for the right people, right? So these are the process that we all get involved in. And I think it's true, whatever your system, this has to be fundamentally what works for all of us. Now, up to this point, I think it's clear, right? Conversation create possibility. That refers to part 1, part 2. Those conversations will surface a need, and your invitation and your presentation will help invent the possibility. And when the possibility is invented, one of the favorite questions that I like to ask, and you want to learn to ask that question, can you see a possibility for yourself? Good conversations always have good questions. It's not about talking. It's about asking, listening, clarifying, asking, listening again, right? And if you don't believe me, you go talk to your senior. If your senior has got some success, they will be asking you a lot of questions. And the way they ask questions, you don't even realize they're asking you a question, right? So what we got to do is we got to learn to ask questions, right? And like at the end of the presentation, do you like what you see? Do you like what you hear? What do you like about it? Can you see a possibility for yourself? This is how we invent possibility. And when they say, yes, I can see a possibility, are you ready to join me? Then you say, okay, don't worry. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. My job is to answer your questions, right? Bear in mind, we are looking for the right people, not people looking for excuse to not join. We're looking for people who are looking for a good reason to get started, right? Not everyone's right. We are looking for the right people, okay? Now, I'm gonna give you some tips, right? Before I wrap up my presentation, right? Since I think most people are not good at asking questions. Do you agree? I realize, and I know from my experience, because when I ask questions, they are thinking, what do you want me to say? So quite often they think, what's the right answer you want me to provide? So people are not even good at answering questions because they're not used to questions being asked. But in our business, if you want to have good conversation, you got to learn to ask good questions. Now, I don't want you to get scared. Oh, what's a good question? What's a good question? I'm going to give you 3 examples, okay? You can use that in all situations. Not all 3 at one time, but the 3 questions, 1 at a time, right? And get comfortable asking this question. There's a question, there's a follow-up question, and then there is the what-if question. The what-if question is the one that leads them to take a look at the business. So are you ready? I've got a lot, and I've prepared just 3 questions that you can learn to ask in any social setting. So let me share with you. I know many of you ask your friend, how is life? I will bet every one of us here habitually ask, how's life? But I also bet that when we ask the question, we didn't stick around to hear the answer. How's life? Fine. Oh, fine. Mine fine too. Finish, right? But when we say, how's life? We say, okay lah. Like this is the language we may use in Singapore, Malaysia, right? Okay lah. Now, when someone says okay lah, does it sound fine? Does that sound not fine? When someone says okay lah, there's a little bit kind of grumpy response, right? Hey, tell me more. Okay lah, I can hear something behind those words, right? But really, how is life? Now, if we really want to hear, people will know, because every one of us is very used to people asking this question with no interest to listen to the answer. But if you ask how is life and you look at the person in the eye, not too penetrating, right? But just look people in the eye. How's life? And listen up for the question. You'll be surprised. A lot of people are waiting for someone who will listen to them. And whatever they say, if you don't know what to say, just please tell me more. I promise you, it won't take a whole day. If you give people the air, they won't take a whole day. Let me share with you an anecdote, right? I grew up in a family of 7 children, and we always wondered why did my dad always have to tell the same story many times in 10 minutes? One of the things I learned is he tells the same story many times in 10 minutes because he doesn't know that we are hearing him. So he repeats himself. But when we start asking questions, okay, there are 2 attitudes about asking questions. Or what if I ask a question and he doesn't stop? But what I find when I ask a question, he will move on to the next point. So I learned from my personal experience why people repeat themselves, because they don't know that you're hearing them. So don't worry, right? After all, we get paid to listen, right? In this business, we get paid to listen well. And how do you show people that you really care? We show people we really care by us listening. Listening, not talking non-stop, but listening. So when someone tells you about their life, say, please tell me more. Oh, I'm not sure I understand what you mean. Can you please explain? Learn to talk like that. They will love you for it, right? And then here is a question to upgrade the conversation to the next level. There are 3 levels, right? First level is open the conversation. Second level is to upgrade the conversation towards our agenda. Of course, we have an agenda to make life better for people, to look for people who are looking for an opportunity, right? And the way we do it is after you listen to them and they tell you about their life, you say, oh, if there were 1 or 2 more things that you could ask for to make your life even better than what it is today, what would that be? You're gonna learn to ask questions and don't trip over your tongue asking it, right? Learn to ask. If there were 1 or 2 more things you could ask for to make your life even better. Sounds familiar? Make life better? If there were 1 or 2 more things that you could ask for to make your life even better. Even better means your life is not bad. We don't assume people's life is bad. We don't make judgment about people's life. We will assume their life is okay, at least okay. But what we're offering to do is to find out what they want to make their life better, and then we can offer that as a solution to them. Right? So if there were 1 or 2 more things you could ask for to make your life even better, what would you ask for? And whatever they say, oh, please share. Why is that important to you? So you really understand. When someone say, what I ask for? I want better health, which is a very common response. Why is that important to you? What do you mean better health? Make sure you understand what they mean, because the 1-word response doesn't tell you anything, right? And don't make assumptions about what they're saying. I say, oh, well, I would love to have more money. Someone say, I'd love to have more money. They're more likely to say, I'd love to have better health than to say more money. But someone say, I'd love to have more money. I say, tell me more. Exactly how much more? How much more? Because whatever they ask for, we can show them a way to get it, right? And then when you really get the 1 or 2 things that they really want, then you can ask the what if question. What if I could show you a way to complete your life by meeting those needs? And you can fulfill that need in a short time. So these 3 levels of creating a conversation that will lead to a business presentation. Good? And you didn't know the question, how is life, can be so powerful, right? So now we make an ordinary question. The next time you ask how is life, don't be like everybody, how's life, and then you didn't stick around to listen. When we ask how's life, we really want to know how is life. Second, talk about health. People like to talk about health, right? And right now we are in the middle of a pandemic, and you will think that people will be more alive to the health concerns out there. So this line of questioning is about health. And it'll be good for you to go out there and scout for people's opinion. So the question you could ask, hey friend, what in your opinion is the biggest health issue out there? Then say COVID-19. But if you're in the business, you know COVID is not the biggest health issue. The biggest health issue is the metabolic storm. COVID-19 killed 2 million people. The metabolic storm killed 40 million people every year. You must know that. You must know that. Don't be so impressed by what the media is telling you. COVID, COVID, COVID. COVID is only dangerous, especially to the people with an underlying condition. And that comes from what we understand to be the metabolic storm, right? So it's good to ask this question because you want to know what is at the top of their mind or at the back of their mind. What, in your opinion, is the biggest health issue out there? That is demanding attention and a solution. What about yourself? What to you is the biggest health worry? And this is where you find out from them what happened to their father, what happened to your grandparent, what happened to your family, what's a big common health issue, right? And you might hear them talk about diabetes or heart attack or cancer or whatever. Doesn't matter what, because you know what? We work in a business where we have the solution for practically all the health issues out there. So we can say, what if you could have the master solution to help yourself and others overcome that very health issue? And you can make a business out of it. Now, when you ask this question, they're going to find you strange, okay? Because they never heard anyone say that before. They heard, oh, I got a great product. That's That's where a lot of people end up. Someone talks about, oh, I got a great product for you. Well, if you're in the business of selling product, fine. But we're in the business of looking for business partner. So we don't say, I got a great product for you. Of course, I got a great product for you and more. But what I'm interested to find out is, what if I could have a master solution to help you overcome that health concern? And you can make a business out of it. You see, asking the right question will get you the right people. You ask the wrong question, you cannot get the right result, right? So if you just say, oh, I got a great product for you, would you be interested in this? Say, no, I got enough of my own. So ask the right question, and this is a sample of question that has worked for me and my team, right? So, and let me just wrap up with the third type of question you can ask. This is about people's number one concern, not necessarily health. You can talk about economy. You know, sometimes when you get invited to a dinner, don't be the one talking, be the one listening. I do this. I get invited to a dinner, I go there, I listen. I'm okay not to be the big mouth. I'm happy to be the big ears. Right? And after you listen to people talking about this, and you realize at the dinner table, everybody wants to talk, right? Let everybody talk. We just do the listening. Take notes. Take mental note. And then when you listen hard enough, whether it's a small group or big group, when you listen hard enough, you can say, hey, I have a question for you. Let's say, CK, I'm looking at CK's face. Hey, CK, I have a question for you. And what do you think he will do? You say, yes. I will get his listening, right? And I say, hey, CK, in the current environment, given all that's happening, the pandemic, the global economic shakeup, of all the things people worry about, what do you think are people's number one concern? And by the way, I read a book called Power Question. And out of the 300 over question, there is one question that's the most powerful question that people are happy to hear you ask. It's a forward question. And that forward question can be found in this big question. What do you think? When you ask, what do you think, people appreciate, because I hope when you ask, what do you think, you listen to what they think. You don't jump, you don't argue with them, right? So in the current environment, given all that's happening, the pandemic, the elections in the US, the uncertainty, the economic shakeup, of all the things people worry about, what do you think are people's number one concern? Ask the question and listen. And then look for a personal angle. Oh, I think the big problem is economy, the world, the job's going to be lost. Now, some guys can have a lot of thought, right? Oh, I think the worst is to come. There'll be many more jobs lost in the next 6 months before things get better. I'm really worried. I say, oh, what do you worry about personally? You want to get personal, right? What do you personally worry about? And then listen. And if you don't understand what they're saying, please tell me more. I don't quite understand. And that's the way we got to engage people. And when you really got a good idea what they worried about, then you ask, what if you could have a plan B, a business plan to address all of those concerns? Would you like me to show you? Would you like me to show you? It's more powerful. Let me show you. Say, no, I'm not interested. Would you like me to show you? If they say no, that's fine. Here's a guy who's very suspicious of you, very wary about you, and obviously not open-minded. The purpose of asking all these questions is to see if they're open, and is to engage them. Now, having done this, you will be able to set them up to talk about the business. What if I could show you a plan B to help you shock-proof your life? They say, yeah, tell me. Well, do you have 30 minutes? Or maybe let's meet again. Tomorrow, 6 p.m., are you free? Or when will you have 1 hour so that we can sit down and just focus on this? This is what you do, right? So this is how you open up cases and you invent possibilities and you lead people to a discussion about the business. This is for the purpose of talking business, okay? So I've covered everything I want to cover, and I would like to listen to any question you have. But before I finish up, I just want to remind you, everything in our business happens only in conversation. Not you talking to yourself. People do that a lot, right? People think to themselves, ask a question to themselves, wonder about people by themselves. No, don't do that. Conversation is between you and another person, not between you and yourself. Everything happens in conversations, or else nothing happens. So with that, I've shared with you everything I want to share, and I don't know how that lands on you, but I'll be happy to take any questions from the floor right now.
Okay, thank you, President Eng Hai, for your valuable and applicable tips. So right now we are opening the Q&A session. Feel free to submit your questions in the chat box, and President Eng Hai will answer your query.
CK, I'll help. It will be helpful if you can read the questions to me. So it's like
Yes.
you're asking the question on your behalf.
Sure.
I won't bother to read the chat box. Any questions? I'm okay for any questions, right? Or any comments? Hey, you guys gotta humor me, you know. I talk so much, huh? You're gonna ask me at least a few questions. Huh? And don't be shy. There's no bad question, there's no stupid question, there's just good questions, and every question is a good question. So let me hear your thoughts. No?
Okay.
That either mean I'm very clear,
Yes.
or you're totally confused.
Yeah.
Okay, I can see a question come up.
How to listen without automatic recurring dialogues? Yeah.
Okay, well, good question. How to listen without automatic recurring dialogue? Well, it's good. Whoever asks the question, I presume you know of somebody who has an automatic recurring dialogue, right? I recommend you read a book called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. All right? And oh, by the way, if you want to succeed in this business, you got to read books, okay? You got to read books, lots of good books. I stay in the game for so long because I read a lot of good books and they kept me alive. Now, this book, 7 Habits, there's one section about seek first to understand. You want to read that part. You also want to go to the section about empathic listening. Listening with empathy. Now, yeah, we all are trained to jump to conclusion about what people are saying. But we really have to train ourselves to listen to what people are saying, not listen to what we think they are saying. Right? And you want to kind of like talk to your senior partner and practice that, right? Because I don't know how big your problem with the automatic recurring dialogue is. Okay, I learned from one of the diamonds in our business. There's this thing called ANT. ANT. It spells ANT. All right? ANT. Be careful about the ANT running around in your head. And the automatic recurring dialogue is very likely an ANT. The ANT means automatic negative thought. Okay, don't be allowing the automatic negative thought to control your listening. We got to listen to people from nothing and with the intention to understand everything they're saying. Yeah, it takes practice. Okay? But if you know that there is an automatic recurring dialogue, you let that go. And you tell yourself, if you're listening to yourself, nobody will want to join you. Because you will not get people. And you know what? Human beings are invented in such a way that if you're not listening to them, they know. They can see that in your body, they can see that in your eyes. But if you just focus on understanding them, and then, oh, do you mean this? Oh, I never heard that before. Can you tell me more so that I understand what you're saying? That's training yourself, right? Training yourself to listen to people. So the solution to the problem is to be aware of the problem. So if you know there's an automatic recurring dialogue, give that up. Because your dialogue doesn't serve you. It's what people say that will serve you. Okay? I hope that helps. But yeah, so go get that book, and if you read it before, read again. Right? I will share with you one case. I have a leader who tend to have a problem with listening to people, and she get angry listening to people. So I said, go read, seek first to understand. Habit number 5. If you can get into the mindset of seeking first to understand, then people will be willing to listen to you. Okay, so I hope that answers your question. What else do I have, CK?
The second question, I guess, is the question. Need to know more about Unipower system from Michelle. Is that a question?
Then you should go talk to your senior partner who may be a member of the Unipower system. This is not the place. With respect to the people who are not in the Unipower system, I'm not going to do an advertisement, okay? I'm not going to talk about Unipower system. You should talk to your senior or any of those leaders who are identified as system. That would be the better forum, right? But to me, Unipower system helped me to be successful. But let's not talk about Unipower system. Let's just talk about system, okay? The problem with people is they do the business without a system. Can you succeed? The other problem is you have a system, but your downline have a different system. Can you succeed? Someone say, oh, what about this system? What about that system? I'm taking the question generally, right? It doesn't matter what system. So long as you follow through that same system and your whole team follow through that same system and you guys don't waste your energy arguing about it, finding out what's right, what's wrong. If everybody follow one system, that team can succeed. The problem is the leaders say this and the other leaders say something else. And then the new people who join you, they're totally confused. If I'm more popular, they follow me. If they are more popular, they follow them. And then you don't have the team moving in one direction, right? So don't worry about whether it's the Unipower system or the Korean system or the Thai system or whatever the system. But make sure that if you want to succeed in this business, you have a system that you embrace, you adopt. Right. By the way, I tried in my early days to try to create a system of my own, but because I was not successful, my people didn't want to follow me. So when I had a system much bigger than me, I embraced that system and it was much easier to have everyone move in alignment. Okay? That's the only way I can answer that question. You want to know more about details, go talk to the leader.
Okay. There's one question. Which book you edify about power of Christians? And Victor did answer Stephen Covey is the author, 7 Habits of Effective People. Is it correct?
No, there are 2 books now I'm referring to. The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. Yes.
Yep, okay.
I will warn you that book is not easy to cover, okay? But it's well worth it. In my first year in the business, when I was introduced to the book, I took almost 4 months to read the book. 4 months. But every day I read the book, I got something new. So you don't have to finish the book before you get something. But when you read the book like you want to get what's in the book. Okay, I know someone else said, oh, there's an easier version of 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, right? You want to know what's the easier version? Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. You could read that too. There's like a easy to digest version. That belongs to one category. The other book I talk about is Power Question by an author called Gerald Panas. You just go and look for Power Question. And it's about 337 questions that will help you to become successful. It's in that book that I learned that simple question. What do you think? Go read the question because I think we need to train ourselves to ask questions. Because we are not trained to ask questions, we are just trained to give an opinion, right? So one of the best training you can get yourself is train yourself to ask questions. Ask questions from an open mind with the intention to learn, right? And if it's a book that you can get to train yourself to ask questions, that'll be good.
Okay, there's one question. Which book if we want to build team?
Which book if you want to build team? I think John C. Maxwell have a good series about leadership. The first one is how to build, developing the leader in you. I love that book. If you want to build a team, you got to build yourself up as a leader, right? Developing the leader in you. And then if you're ready to build a team, then you go and read the second book, Developing the Leader Around You. John C. Maxwell, right? But I tell you, there's one book that only you can write. You can read all the books you want, but there's one book that you must never miss. There's a book of your own practice. You got to go out there and do the work. Go out there and dare to fail. Go out there and dare. Oh, by the way, I'll share with you a personal story of mine. How I learned not to send out the wrong text message. Okay. Now, when I joined a business in my first month, I found a few good people. I brought 3 people into my business in the first month. I brought 7 people into my business in the second month without system. Okay. It's just my own determination to succeed. Seeing that this is a business that's going to save my future and save my economic life. So 3 people in the first month, 7 people in the second month, and another 3 people in the third month. I remember I was looking at my volume going up one day towards the end of the month. Pop, 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 pop. It's a jackpot machine that went up to 5,000 OV in my third month. All right, and then in that 5,000 OV organization, there was one guy who was the first among all. And this guy was building a team very fast with me. And one day he had a complaint about why he has to pay money for a ticket to an event. And then I was not too patient. That's why I said be patient, right? I was not too patient. I said, hey, we've always had to pay for ticket. Why you suddenly ask? Right? And then he said a few things and I said a few things. And then I said, hey, I'm just teasing you. I said, hey, be serious. This business, no time to joke around. You know what happened to him? He not happy with my response. He quit the business and my volume dropped by 50% in the next month. Okay, what's the lesson that we need to learn here? Be patient with people. When they ask a question, it's just a question. Don't get angry so easily. All right, try to understand why they ask. And then even why is he asking a question? Just answer the question. Don't get angry with people. Because when you're impatient, you lose a group very fast. But when you're patient, you keep people a little bit longer. And that's a good principle to use when you want to bring people into business and you want to keep people in the business. And take it from me, I paid a price for being impatient, okay? So the best book you can read about how to build and lead a team is the book of your practice, if you know what I mean. But yeah, go and read the John C. Maxwell series. Those are great leadership books.
Okay, we have one question from Hariman, Indonesia.
My friend from Indonesia.
Yes. What is the most recent challenge you face personally doing this platform?
And let me try to think. I don't see anything as a challenge, right? Okay, maybe my challenge is I'm not a diamond yet, honestly, right? But I know what I need to do, build wider, look for new people, right? But challenge, I've been in business for so long, I've overcome them all. But if I were to go back in time, the challenge was dealing with people who are impatient. But I don't have that problem anymore. If they're impatient, what do I need to be? Patient, right? If they're patient, what do I need to be? Patient. I learned that in this business, the biggest challenge is not outside. The biggest challenge is inside. How calm we are, how ready we are to work with all sorts of people, and how ready we are to accept people as they are. Right? And if you would invest money and time to go through all the programs that help you be an effective human being, you will be able to answer the way I answered. What's the recent challenge? None. Right? I just know I need to go out there and look for the right people. And I don't have a challenge with difficult people because I just let them go. Right? But if you try to bring difficult people in who are not ready to do the business, that'll be challenging. But I'm not up for the challenge. I'm just looking for the right people. I want a stress-free business. I want an easy business working with the right people, right? So I don't know, maybe Hariman want to let me know what's the challenge he'd like me to help him with. Yeah, because for me, I have been around long enough. I think the challenge I see in my team, the challenge people face is they think too much and they do too little. That's what I find I have to deal with and help people with. They think a lot, but they do very little. So I spend my time listening to what's bugging them and just say, you know, and let me share with you this story. If you put $10 million into this business, assuming you have 10 million, okay? You borrow 8 million and you got 2 million from your family, and you put $10 million into this business. What do you know you need to do? You know you need to make money, right? What if business is bad? You go out there and create a business. What if nobody is coming to your shop? You go out to the road and they hand out leaflets. Do you need anyone to train you? No. You just know you got to get your money back, right? So if it was a traditional business and you put a lot of money inside, you will know what to do. You won't have the luxury to think too much. Every day you'll be thinking about solution. How do I deal with that? How do I deal with that? How do I deal with that? The problem in our business, nobody put 10 million, nobody put 1 million. We only put 1,000, 2,000 max. So we have a lot of luxury to think about problem, to think a lot. If you have to pay rent, you have to pay wages, you have to service a bank loan, you have to pay your supplier, you have to pay your creditor, and you will chase your debtor. Would you have the luxury to sit around and think? No. You'll be going out there looking for business, right? Right? So we will not redefine the business. What we do is you don't have to put 10 million down. You don't even have to put 1 million down. But my dear friends, do you believe that if you dare to walk out of this business, you walk out of the possibility of $1 million cash flow annually? That's not 10 million. That's giving up. If you got 40 years of your life, that's $40 million. Are you ready to give up $40 million? It's not what you put in, it's what you give up. So when you can commit, understand in your mind that this is an opportunity for all of us to set ourselves free financially, then you won't sit around and think too much. You go out there and look for people. And understand the business is simple. We just learn to take good care of our health and go out there and look for 5 to 6 good people to join us. How difficult is that? So yeah, maybe now as I talk, I said the biggest challenge is help people to see that the business is simple. Because a lot of people like to see the business complicated. Okay? I hope that answers the question.
Okay, we have one question from Sunan. What about the 5 levels of leadership by John C. Maxwell?
Yeah, what about? Go read it. Make sure you clear level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. Right? What about? I think if you can read books, like I said, you don't just read books, you implement what you read. You don't just come to training, you implement what you learn. There's no lack of books to read, there's no lack of training to attend. But I find in the business, what's always lacking is action is lacking. And I know why action is lacking. Action is lacking because the thinking is always overtime. We're always thinking in overdrive. And I tell you why I think we think a lot, because we are not hungry and poor enough. Okay, do we need to be like the Cambodians? I have great admiration for the Cambodians and the Vietnamese. I'd like to share something about what I got from them. Cambodia is a country with 15 million people with an income that's 360 the per capita income, $360 US per month. But you know that the rich people just take more of it, right? So the poor people is not 360, they're actually 100. Compare Singapore, people here make 7,000 to 8,000 per capita a month, right? $6,000 to $7,000 a month. People in Malaysia about 3,000 a month. Maybe that 3,000 or 7,000 gives us a certain comfort zone. That we don't succeed in this business, we can always run back to a job. Even if the job is scarce, we look around, we prepare to go down a little bit, we can get a job. But I think the people in Cambodia, even if they got a job, they get $100 a month. But recently, we had the opportunity to acknowledge 3 new diamonds in Cambodia. So we want to ask ourselves, how come you can have diamonds in Cambodia? Is it they have a different business plan? No, they also start 500 PV. They also maintain at least 100 PV and better 200 PV. Same plan. Maybe the big difference between them and us is they are a lot hungrier. and they really love the opportunity that university represents for them. The university is an opportunity for them to get out of poverty. So when someone offered to them and they saw it and they believe it, they go out there and talk to people. Then your question is, hey, but their income so low, how they can do 200 PV? I can guess. They sell products. Nothing wrong with selling product. If some people don't understand what we're saying, we want to build a business, we look for people to join us as business partner. But there's some people, they don't have the income to allow even 100 PV maintenance, right? But they can go out there and move 100 PV product or move 200. I believe that's what the Cambodian friends do. But they don't go around selling product. They go around looking for business partner. And when the potential business partner say, but I don't have the money, well, you can have the right to create money from the license to sell this product. Make sense? They don't have the luxury to think. They don't have the luxury to sit around because such opportunity doesn't always show up. So I think that's food for thought, right? So back to the question about reading a book. Go read the book, but implement what you read. I think that's good advice. Right? And if you can read 100 books a year, fine. But can you implement everything you read? That's more important.
Okay, so we don't have any more questions. So before we end this session, once again, we would like to thank President Eng Hai for his wonderful sharing. And my fellow leaders, you have heard from leaders that have applied his success formulas and is today a top leaders in these 4 markets. So the ball is in your hands now. What is your action plan tomorrow? So thank you very much for tuning in today. Thank you, Eng Hai, and good evening. See you again. So
thank you everyone for coming. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.